Most companies are trying to integrate AI by bolting it onto what they already have. Same org chart, same processes, same incentives, just add co-pilots. I've worked in enterprise technology long enough to know when something genuinely new is happening. This isn't it. What's happening is a different kind of company, one that doesn't retrofit AI into legacy architecture. It builds from scratch around agents that plan, act, and close loops without human handoffs. I call them agent native, and they're not competing with you. They're replacing the conditions that made you viable in the first place. Let me show you what this looks like in the real world. Upgrading an old London townhouse to full fiber internet is agony. You drill through century-old brick. You snake cable behind ornate moldings. You negotiate way leaves with listed building authorities who move at the speed of heritage preservation. It takes months, it costs a fortune, and when you're done, you still have an old house with modern internet awkwardly threaded through it. That's what most enterprises are doing with AI. They're the townhouse. They're trying to drag agentic AI through legacy foundations. Fragile AP is. Manual approval chains. Data locked in silos that haven't talked to each other since the merger. Now contrast that with the new build down the street. Agent-native companies don't drill through brick. Their entire foundation was poured for AI from day one. Action-ready data. Execution loops that close without a human in the middle. One is retrofitting intelligence into resistance. The other is architecture. The cost of doing things the old way is staggering. In the UK, the actual street works, the physical digging, runs about 70% of the total cost of laying fiber. That's the literal retrofit tax. Legacy enterprises are paying their own version every single day. Every time they try to force an advanced AI agent through an archaic compliance workaround or a brittle legacy system, they're essentially digging up the street. It's exhausting, it drains resources, and it severely limits how fast they can actually move. The townhouse can get fiber, it just costs more and takes longer than the new build that was wired for it from the start. You've seen this pattern before. Clayton Christensen called it disruption. Incumbents optimized for yesterday's model completely missed the new one coming. Blockbuster had the chance to buy Netflix. They passed. Within a few years, the entire market flipped. Here's what's different now. The cycle used to take decades. Retail had time. Media had time. Even finance had a runway to adapt. Agentic AI compresses that entire arc into years, maybe less. If you're the incumbent, you don't get a decade to retrofit your way into relevance. You get 18 months before someone launches without your baggage and runs the same operation with 11 people instead of 1,100. The luxury wasn't the model, it was time, and that's gone. Here's the shift most companies are missing. Agentic AI is not a feature you bolt onto a drop-down menu. It's an entirely new operating model. We're not talking about systems that answer questions. We're talking about systems that pursue goals. They use tools, they coordinate with other agents and with humans, and critically, they take reversible actions with full audit trails. When you design a business around this reality, you create a company that learns and compounds advantages faster than rivals still trying to thread cables through Victorian plaster. The difference isn't incremental, it's architectural. Here's where it breaks down for legacy companies. First, every approval chain, every rekeyed form, every manual handoff is a street you have to dig up. The agent hits a wall where a human still has to click approve. Second, fragmented identity and data. Agents need clean, consistent contracts. Most older companies have 15 years of messy sprawl across systems that barely talk to each other. Third, cultural drag. Teams built for manual handoffs aren't designed for autonomous actors. And fourth, my favorite, pilot theater. The co-pilot looks incredible in a controlled demo. Then it hits production and stalls completely because nothing downstream is ready for an agent that actually takes action. It's not that the AI failed, it's that the company wasn't built for it. So what does the alternative actually look like? Agent-native companies skip the retrofit entirely. They default to straight-through execution from day one. Processes are designed around agents, not humans. The data isn't just accessible, it's structured with strict contracts so agents can act, not just read. Policies aren't buried in some PDF that nobody opens. They're coded directly into the tooling. There's full observability, red team tests, task-specific evaluations for every agent, identity systems built for machines, not just people. It's not an upgrade path, it's a different foundation. And the gap between the two isn't shrinking, it's compounding. Hashtag Klarna's Agent Native Transformation Take Klarna. They didn't bolt a chatbot onto the homepage and call it AI. They redesigned the entire support workflow around agents that close loops. Their AI assistant now handles the majority of customer service conversation in production across multiple markets. Resolution time went from 11 minutes down to under 2. That's not a feature improvement. That's what happens when you build the operation around autonomous execution instead of trying to thread intelligence through a call center built for humans with headsets. The ROI doesn't come from the AI, it comes from the architecture. We're seeing the same pattern in healthcare. Hospitals are moving post-discharge voice agents out of pilot theater and into actual production. The agents call patients. They monitor the gap between discharge and full recovery, one of the most expensive failure points in the entire system. And because it's built correctly and has clean escalation paths to a human clinician the second it's needed, it works, not as a demo, as infrastructure. That's what Agent Native looks like when it ships. The technology stack is already there. Platform tooling is maturing fast. Salesforce, HubSpot, open frameworks like Autogen and LangGraph. They're all rolling out sophisticated action frameworks right now. Multi-agent orchestration, long-running state, safety guardrails baked in. The tools to build the new house are sitting on the workbench. Most companies are still arguing about whether they're allowed to pick up the hammer. So here's the question. How do both sides win? How do founders build Agent Native from scratch? And how do incumbents avoid getting replaced by someone who did? If you're a founder, this is your wedge. You're building from scratch. That's not a disadvantage, it's the entire point. Here's how you move. Pick one workflow. Claims resolution, revenue ops, whatever. Own it end to end. Design your agent fabric first. Goals, tools, constraints, evals, before you even think about the UI. Ship fast, weeks, not quarters. Instrument ruthlessly. Track your straight-through percentages and human touch ratios like your life depends on them. And when you go to market, don't sell the AI feature. Sell the outcome. Faster cycle times, lower cost per case. The buyers don't care about your architecture. They care that you just cut their turnaround in half. If you're inside a legacy enterprise, your survival kit looks different. You might need to stand up a greenfield business unit with its own data plane, totally separate from the core. You carve out agent-ready corridors in the old architecture where you can. But here's the key. Barbell governance. Tight guardrails for critical actions. Anything involving money, safety, or compliance. Zero tolerance. And at the same time, generous open sandboxes where your teams can actually experiment and learn. Most enterprises do the opposite. They lock down exploration and leave the risky stuff wide open. You'll also need to acquire skills that didn't exist 3 years ago. Task design. Policy as code. Agent orchestration at scale. This isn't an IT project anymore. It's operational architecture. Understanding the theory is valuable. Getting your teams to ship is what matters. Here's a 13-week sprint designed to bypass the retrofit tax entirely. Weeks 1 and 2, pick one high-volume process with crystal-clear guardrails. Write those policies as actual code, not a PDF someone might read. Weeks 3 through 6, build your minimum viable agent. Run it in a sandbox. Log every single action with strict pass-fail evaluations. Weeks 7 through 10, move to limited production. Keep a human in the loop. Track throughput and defects like your survival depends on it. Weeks 11 through 13. Publish a one-page scorecard. Hard data only. Based on that, you either expand the cohort or you stop, learn, and try again. Remember the Townhouse. Building this new clean process will always be faster, cheaper, and easier to scale than trying to pull fiber through your old walls. I want to leave you with one question. If a startup launched tomorrow and resolved your customers' top 3 problems without human handoffs, what would you need to change in the next 90 days to keep it from becoming the new standard? The first agent native player in your market might look narrow today. Tomorrow, they're the default. The disruption is here. The tools are ready. The only question left is how fast you're going to build. If you want to stay ahead of this curve, follow for more.